All right. All right, we're back. Okay, I think product is still up. It is in fact not. Um, sure. What time is it? It's currently up. Okay. Immediately. Okay. I like how this is even called Stash and Dash. Okay. Hold on. I'll come up with something to talk. I'll come up with something to talk about. I'll come up with something to talk about. Got around you easily. Bitch, you're under here, aren't you? There you go. I'll come up with something to talk about. Oh, here's one. This one actually more just has to do with incompetence. And it's not, well, it's a story that I have because I have a perspective in this. But this is more of something from back in the day with Scouts. When I was in Scouts and I wasn't, and before I stopped because I completed it. Before I completed it. This was like way before I completed it. But back a long time ago, in the Scouts, we had these things called patrols that was like the different groups. All right, my group was called the Gorillas. It was really just a bunch of like animals mixed with some stuff. Mine was called the Gorillas. My brother's was called the Serpents. But after his group came in, a year later, a new group came in called the Blue Phoenix. Those guys were both the most, like, nowadays, before I left, they were willing to take charge in anything, but at this point in time, some of them were like probably like the most incompetent people that you can find. And, one of their guys was like, some of them were just like really entitled. One of them was so entitled that he single-handedly was the reason that we were not allowed to bring Pop-Tarts on the what's called on camping trips anymore, simply because, well, he kept on, well, this is a completely different story, but we'll get to this story in a bit. Okay, I'll get to Pop-Tarts in a bit. And speaking of Pop-Tarts, there's a certain inside joke that you'll sometimes hear me say. Yeah, I will explain that in a moment. But these guys were both somehow the most incompetent and somehow most competent at the same time. They would believe that, some of them would believe, oh, we just need, okay, if we need help, we can go and ask somebody for it. Some of them did not believe this, and this ended up being the main problem to what I'm about to tell you. In Scouts, we went out to a place called Mount Riley, which is just desert. It is just desert. Yeah, there's plants, but it's mostly dead plants. But it's just desert. Like, I can probably pull up like a picture of it and I'll show you. But thing is that one of the things that you have to do in Scouts is cook your food. They brought a stove. Made sense. That made sense. Okay. Oh fuck! I just realized something. I didn't do something. There was something I didn't do. Okay, I forgot to make it so I can see the see that. Anyway, my tent, the gorilla's tent wasn't really I was like, there were very few of the gorillas. We called them patrols, but my group, my patrol, well, that I was in, there weren't very many of us. Some of us quit, some of us moved away. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but there were very few of us. It was me, a guy named Jason, a guy named Steven, and a guy named Jacob. That was it. Oh, and also there was also a guy named Gabriel, which Gabriel, I did not understand. I did not know which patrol he was in, which troop, or which, I mean, not troop, which what's it called? Which, like, group he was in, because of how, like, because by the time I was leaving, because by the time I graduated, I was leaving, I became a, what's it called? An Eagle Scout. There was barely anybody left. There was like maybe like 2-3 patrols left. I'm gonna go with patrols, just so you know, when I say patrols, I'm talking about groups, okay? Anyway, back to this story. There wasn't that many. Some of them were like in tents were in their own tents. I brought mine, but some of them just decided to just sleep in like their own tents that they brought. But so I set up my campsite, like, we all set up our camp, like, near each other. I set mine up, like, there was this little hill that if you were exactly where the Blue Phoenix was, you wouldn't have been able to see me. However, I did do a bunch of walking around, and I wasn't really the type of person that was like, hey, do you need help or anything? But if somebody came and asked me for help, I didn't know this was happening until a bit too late. And I had all the stuff set up that I needed. And I had the stove, I had the table, which this is important, by the way. This is important. I'm going to describe the table, and this is important. The table well, had two ends of it. One of them was plastic, like, you know, it was a folding table, like, okay, so one of them was plastic where you would put all the stuff on, and the other side was metal, like it had like a metal case. It was kind of like a metal like grid to it. And the reason for this is because this is what you would cook, and you would put like this is what you would cook on. This is what you would make what you would put the hot stuff on. This is what you would do all that stuff for. And I had that all out, and I'm like, okay, I got everything. This is all good. Everything is great. I got this. And then I look over, and I notice there's smoke, and I'm like, hold on, the campfire isn't for like another while from here. It's not over here. It's in that direction, but it's a bit further away. Hold on, and I go over, and I notice that, and for context, every patrol had this tote box that they would bring. They called it a patrol box. And they had it there, and what they would do, I'm in the wrong place, and they would bring all like the stuff, like the tents, the cooking supplies, all that stuff in there. They bring all that stuff. Now I'm over here like, what's going on? Wait, hold on. Why is there what's it called? Why is there smoke? And I go over, and I hear like yelling, and I'm like, oh shit! And I go over and I look. And I notice that someone has set fire, and I'm like, oh no, this is not right. This is not right. Something's not right here. And I know, and so I go over, and I don't know if I'm the one. I don't remember if I'm the one who put the fire out, but someone put the fire out. Let's just say someone put the fire out, and they put the fire out. And some of the older scouts come over, and they're like, what happened? And the story is explained that they didn't have a table. Well, they didn't have a table that they can cook on, so they decided to use their patrol box to cook on, to use their stove on. And I was like, I was right around the corner. You can't see where I am, but I have been walking around here. You could have just asked me. Yeah, but like, these guys like they decided, and it was and we're like, why didn't anyone go and ask? And it's revealed that the guy that the troop leader, the patrol leader, the leader of that specific group, the group leader, turns out he did go. He was like, hey, let's go around asking people. And apparently according to literally everyone there, he was the only one of their group that actually went and when asked around. No one else went and asked. Everyone was like, oh, okay, well, let's go pretend and ask. And then and I was like right there. I know that they didn't ask me. I know for a fact they didn't come over and ask me. But they were like, no, we did go and ask. According to everyone else, no, they did not. No, they absolutely did not. But that's a story that I have now, and the moral of the story. If you are told, hey, we don't have something, let's go and ask around, see if they can spare something. Don't be like, oh, I'm just gonna pretend. No, go and actually ask around. Don't just actually go and ask. The second story is the story of the kid who the kid is the reason why they don't have we're not allowed to have we weren't allowed to have Pop-Tarts on campouts anymore. Now here's the thing. The entire like Pop-Tart fiasco was an actual debated thing where the parents were actually like, should we actually just have them bring Pop-Tarts? The reason why is because the entire point of this was you were supposed to go out, you were supposed to cook your own meals, all right? But the thing is that what would happen is every morning is that what would happen is we would go out for 2 days. And we would go and set up camp, and everyone would set up camp and be like, okay, time to go to sleep. Next day, wake up, make their eat the Pop-Tarts, make lunch, make dinner, and then go to sleep. Then the next day, just wake up and eat Pop-Tarts. Now, this was getting kind of out of hand to the point where the parents were like, no, you're not allowed to eat Pop-Tarts. But then the scouts came up with the idea, no, okay, let's bring Pop-Tarts, but how about this? We don't eat the Pop-Tarts until the very last day. It's like the very last day. And everyone's like, yeah, okay, sure, that works for me. That works for us. And that actually ended up being a good idea. But then Pop-Tarts were banned for a while because we had this kid, don't really remember what his name was, but he ended up eating all the Pop-Tarts from the Blue Phoenix patrol. Then he decided to go over to my brother's patrol, which were the Serpents. He decided to go over to the Serpents patrol and decided, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna take from them. They're not even gonna notice. What he didn't count on was the fact that the Serpents were at their campsite where their Pop-Tarts were. That's what he did not count on. And here's the thing, and this wasn't a one-time thing. This has happened multiple times. They have gone to the and you know that saying, oh, if someone's bullying you or doing something you don't like, just go and tell an adult. Here's the thing. This is why I believe that when you tell an adult, if they don't do anything, you need to take things into your own hands, because this is why. And his patrol, and my brother and his patrol actually ended up acting on this, and they and he stole some Pop-Tarts. And this wasn't a one-time thing. This happened several times before, and these guys were, and the Serpents were just the just happened to be the patrol that were like, you know what? No, we're not going to take this. We're not going to take this. You've done this to several other people. We're not going to be victims to you. So after he took the Pop-Tarts and started eating, they got rope and tied him to the tent. They fucking tied him to the tent. Because they were like, yeah, we're not going to take your shit. What'd you get? Okay. Well, I actually ended up getting more money. Shit. Oh no, wait, that was from something else. Okay. But that was the reason why we were banned from Pop-Tarts for a while, was because this one kid decided that he was gonna take Pop-Tarts. And because of this, now everyone had to suffer from it. Because this one kid thought that he can just get away with stealing. I just want to check how much. I do. Here's the thing. I just want to like wait until. Oh shit! How much Shit. So 20, 40, 60. I'm gonna get 60 of them. I'm gonna get 160. I'm gonna get 260. How about that? Let's get that. 260. Hey, I would like to get. I would like to get 260. Yeah, that's 280. Oh no, wait, never mind. Okay, but then speaking of Pop-Tarts, there was this one kid named Thomas. This kid was, remember when I said that there was another kid that was really entitled? This kid had to be the most entitled out of anyone I've ever seen. His name was Thomas, and he was not part of the Blue Phoenix. No, he was part of the Serpents. And the Serpents were like a really good patrol. They were really good patrol. They did what they were supposed to. They were really good at what they did, okay? I want to state that. They were very good. It was just this one kid, Thomas. And I do want to state, to his credit, over time, he did become a lot better of a person. However, at this time, he was the most entitled person I've ever met. And to this day, even though this happened years ago, I still joke about it to this day. I still, like, whenever, so... for context, one time we were at a place called Balmoral, and it's one of the biggest, hold on. What? You know what, Dad? You've been wrong. Oh, Balmoral does pop up. Okay, okay, Balmoral pops up, but it is not the biggest. It is not the biggest. Crystals. Yeah, yeah, so Balmoral is not the biggest, but it is one of the biggest. It is pretty big, but the thing is that we were camping there at one point, and my brother in the patrol of the Serpents they were having some trouble, and they were like, we just need one more guy to help us. We just need one more guy to help us to make this go faster. And they go up to Thomas, and they're like, hey, Thomas, can you help us with this? And he just straight up states, oh, I can't. I'm eating a Pop-Tart. I can't. I'm eating a Pop-Tart. they're like, okay, well, can you put the Pop-Tart down and have it and help us? And he's like, no, I'm eating right now. So that is okay. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 100, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. So I need to get 180. Hello, I liked 100. I would like 180 of this. Thank you very much. Thank you. So to this day, I'll still joke about it. Like my dad will be like, "Hey, can you do something for me?" And I'm like, "I can't. I'm eating a Pop-Tart." Like we will still like that's just an inside joke that we have now. Well, that's just an inside joke. I'm explaining the joke. That's the thing. That's the reason. What's another thing? Okay, a good example. Okay, now you may be thinking, oh well, this kid couldn't have been that entitled. There was a certain point where we're at one of the summer camps. There's a guy. Don't remember which one it was. Was it JD or Matthew? I don't remember if it was one. I don't know. I remember which one. But one of them. We're just gonna say one of the scouts. One of the scouts brought the radio with them, and apparently there was some service. There was some cell service here, and he was just playing some. He was just playing his playing some music, and at one point Thomas comes up and is like, "Can I listen? Can we play my song now?" And he's like, "Well, after this song." No, after this song. And Thomas immediately, it was like, "No, but I want to listen to the song." And it was like, "No." And this is one of the guys, and this was JD. This was definitely JD that was like this, that brought it. And he was like, "No." And he put his foot down and he was like, "No, I'm not gonna just let you just take it and just put a random song that you're not even willing to tell us what it is." So 20, 40, 60, 80. I'll go with 80. Hello, can I get 80 of these? Yeah, I'm just gonna take 80. 20, 40, 60. Yeah, I'll just take 60. Okay. But that's the thing. He like then he just started demanding, but then when he was told no, he just started fucking crying. Another example of this actually happened in the same week. Happened within the same week because we were still at summer camp, and Thomas, he was like, "No, I don't want." And the thing about Boy Scout summer camp that some people don't know is that like, oh, I don't know if this is how every summer camp goes. But thing about Scout summer camp is that it's kind of like school. You still have to go to classes. That's the thing. You still have to go to classes. I'm gonna go and give this to Brad. I'm gonna keep these two. Okay. You still have to go to school, or you still have to go to classes. You still are graded, and you're given, and they're all for merit badges. And honestly, I preferred going to that, and as much as I hated it, we called it Merit Badge University. I preferred doing that over going to meetings and waiting for merit badges or camping for that. But anyway, let's get back to this. Thomas did not want to get up in the morning because we had a schedule. Get up in the morning at a certain time. You go get breakfast. After breakfast, you go to your first class, then your second class, and then after your second class, you go get lunch, and then you go through about 2-3 more classes, and then you go to dinner, and then after that it's just free time. Unless you don't have a class and you just get free time throughout the rest of the day, like you're like an adult. But okay, so reason for me telling you this. context. That was the context for it. We were in our tents, and another context for Boy Scout camp is that they already have the tents pre-made. It's like green tents that you go and sit in, that they have like a cot inside. And either you bring your own cot or they already have pre-made ones. I know the one at like Camp Crystal. Emerald Bay, not Crystal Lake. Emerald Bay. Yeah, they had what's it called? They had like ones that were already pre-ready for you. Those were already pre-ready for you. But this one was at Camp Gorham. And Gorham, you had to bring your own. Thomas had his own cot, and I'm pretty sure, from what I remember, it was like one of those cots that, where it's like one of the fancy types where you can just like have it like, so you're like staying up, like it's kind of like you're staying up, you're laying down, you're at an incline, all of that stuff. And he was just there having a time of his life. However, he didn't want to get up at a certain point, and my dad was just done with him. He was just done to the point where he went to his dad. He went to Thomas's dad, Thomas's parent, and said, "Can I disappoint him?" And he was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, I just need to give him a wake-up call. Go for it. Thomas's dad looked at this and was like, "Go for it." Was like, "Go for it. Just do it." And my dad just went into the cot and and Thomas was still in his cot, still sleeping because he didn't want to get up. And my dad just grabbed the cot, dragged it out, and then tipped it over and had Thomas fall onto the ground. And I remember looking at that, and I don't remember exactly. I remember seeing the aftermath of it, and I was like, finally, he's got a taste of his own medicine. I think this was like the first time he realized people are not just going to bend to his will, because all the other times he just cries about not getting his way. He thinks he can do whatever he wants. I remember there was a certain point which, okay, I'm getting off topic again. There was another, okay, but that was the wake up call. That was the wake up call. And I think that was the first time he actually realized people are not everyone is just gonna do as he says. Hey, what do you got? Oh, okay, you don't have a lot. Actually, I'll take that. I'll take that. Oh, I can't deposit shit. Okay. I'll be back. Don't worry, Benji. So I believe that this was like the first time that Thomas full on realized people are not just gonna do what he says. Like, people are not gonna just be like, oh no, they're not gonna be like, oh no, I'm just gonna just sit here and just do whatever you want. No, he realized that there are people that are not gonna, like, they're not gonna take it from him. They're not gonna take shit from him. And honestly, good. I'm glad, because this really started him full on realizing, I should probably be nicer to people, because the world doesn't revolve around me. However, I have another story from this kid as well. I at one point was kind of like, I'm not a skateboard type person, all right? Despite what this game shows you, I'm not that big of a skateboard person. However, there was a point in my life where I wasn't really the type of person that really wanted to ride skateboards, but I did think that skateboards were pretty neat. I did think that skateboards were pretty neat. And so I was scrolling, looking at skateboards on my phone, and at one point, Thomas comes up to me and is like, and this guy was known to be just like, just lie all the time, just about anything. Yeah. Just about anything. And this kid comes up and he looks at what I'm looking at, and he's like, and I'm looking at these skateboards, not really sure what brand they were, don't remember too much about them. But he goes and he looks over my shoulder and he's like, I got those. They're titanium. I'm like, cool. can you show me a picture of them? And he's like, I can't. They're in Iceland. And I was like, cool. Next time, cool. Do you have a picture of them from Iceland? No, I don't. Well, next time you go over to Iceland, can you take a picture of them and show me when you come back? I can't. They're in Iceland. He just thought that this phrase, I can't, they're in Iceland, was going to make me think, oh, well, this guy's telling the truth and this is just his excuse. No, my thought was, this guy's lying and this is his excuse. And the thing is, I learned my lesson from just plain, was flat up, like, from believing people just without any evidence, because back in elementary school, there was this kid named Gavin that I knew. And my dad was still, and I hate this story. I hate this story a lot. I hate it all the time. I hate it every single time I think about it. I hate it because anytime it's ever brought up, it's always brought up in the sense of it feels like I'm being mocked. However, I'm going to explain this because I can see how stupid I was. How many of you guys have ever seen Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? Or read the book? Any of the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movies? The Gene Wilder one or Tim Burton one? I think it was Gene Wilder. I don't know. Well, the original one or Tim Burton one? No. Okay, or have read either of the books of Charlie and Chocolate Factory or Charlie and Great Glass Elevator. Yes, there was a sequel. There was a sequel to the book. Yes, I can show you right now. Hold on, let me show you. Roald Dahl made a sequel. Hold on, let me see if we can find it. What the fuck? Oh, okay. Wait, what? They actually did make that? And whatever. Okay. Here, let me show you. It's this. Roald Dahl, Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. It is a direct sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. How is it? Oh, and how is it so great? Oh, maybe because it takes fucking place right after the first one. It takes place like right after the first one. All right, everybody, let's get it. Let's put the bed into the elevator and let's send it back to the factory. Takes place right at that moment, right where the first one ends. They go into space. They go into space. They feel they experience zero gravity. They go into a space hotel. They meet aliens. They come back to the factory. My voice cracked. They come back to the factory. Wonka reveals that he has medicine that can de-age you. They go into what is essentially purgatory. He reveals that he has medicine that can age you. They meet the president at the end. Wonka even reveals, saying to Charlie on their way down to what is essentially purgatory, saying, Charlie, do you know the tour that I brought you and those rotten kids on? Charlie's like, yes, I do. Wonka says, that is only a small corner of the factory. If I were to show you every single part of the factory, without any breaks and no sleep, it would take 3 weeks to show you the full factory. Most of the factory is underground, mind you. That's the thing. It is stated that most of the factory is underground. And they didn't make a sequel to that. No, but they had to make a prequel to show where Wonka came from. They had to make a reboot. They had to make what's it called, a prequel. They didn't make a sequel. Okay, I know that sequels are never quite as good, but come on. You cannot tell me that that they're not going to go into space. Come on. Anyway, back to back to this. Looks like that we're pretty full on everything now. I'm gonna give you this one right here. I don't know how much you got left. I'm gonna give you this. I'm giving you this. I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna go over a journal. I'm gonna go and see how I'm doing on money laundering. Okay, I still can't do anything about that. So anyway, oh yeah, okay, so my story. Yeah, so if you've read the book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or have seen the movies, you know that the scale of the factory is stated to be 50 times bigger than any factory in the world. Than even the largest factory in the world. So let's see. Let's actually look this up. What is the largest What is the largest factory in the world? The largest factory in the world is the... What the fuck? I cannot read that. This. It's this. This thing. This is it. So meaning... Hold on, so let's look this up. Copy text. So let's do some epic math here. Okay, so let's do some epic math here. So 98.3 times 50. So that would mean Wonka's factory is 4,915 acres. That is how big it is. I want you guys to keep that number in mind. And this actually will, and this is what, and yes, this is why I am at the point of I don't really believe a lot of stuff just by faith alone. Like sometimes I do need evidence, but there's some things where it's just like so outrageous that I'm just like, I need proof for this. I mentioned I had a friend named Gavin. This kid told me that Wonka's factory, the 4,915 acres factory, was located in his backyard. I believed this man. I believed him for the longest fucking time. I believed him for a long time. And shit, fuck. You can't get me! It's faster than even a fastest car. Faster than a speeding bullet. Faster than a speeding snail. If you don't get that reference, you need to watch Looney Tunes. Anyway, hold on. I'll get back to my rants in a bit. What? Wait, where'd you see me from? How'd you find me? Miss me, bitch. All right. He mentions he said that his entire Wonka's factory, the 4,915 acre factory, was located just in his backyard. However, Wonka states in the book that his factory is so much bigger underground because most of it is underground. So, for the longest time, I believed this kid. For the longest fucking time. And my family still laughs at me about it to this day. I honestly don't. I've learned my lesson. I hate when I've clearly learned my lesson. I hate when like people clearly learn the lesson and you will still get made fun of for something that you did when you were a kid. Okay, so not working right now because, well, obviously. Okay. I'm gonna start recording. Okay, let's see how we can do. Ooh! Slot collar. Shot collar. Okay, first things first. First things first, before I continue. Back a long time ago, I used to... What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, Shit, no, I had an entire story for this. But anyway, because of that kid, because of Gavin, that's because of that kid. That's why I don't like believe people unless I like there's some people that I just will, there's some things that you can tell me and I will not believe unless you unless you show proof. Unless you show proof of it, and that's why. But anyway, I need to think of another story that I can tell that I have. Shit. Okay. A long time ago, back once again, I was in Scouts. There was this at I'm able to come in. I didn't even realize. I haven't come here in a long time, so I don't know, maybe. But at the end of, and this happened several times. At back in Scouts when I went to what's called the when I went to what is it called? To summer camp, which only lasted a week. This camp's only lasted a week, which once again, as I've stated, I prefer that and the what we called Mayor Badge University. Yeah, I preferred that to just being in a meeting, because somehow those were more interesting. Back and so there was this certain thing at the beginning and the very end where what they would do is they would bring us to like a campfire and they would tell us to sit down, and they would perform, and the counselors would perform some skits. At the very end, it would be the counselor's job to perform some skits, but afterwards it would be the it would be the scouts. It'd be the scouts to, well, first it would be the scouts to perform the skits, then it was the counselors afterwards. And they and so we would perform some skits, and I have a few stories from this, okay? And what would happen, and this was specifically at Gorham, specifically. And at Gorham, both times I ever went, I went only 2 times. Both times that I went, both times that I went, at the skits thing, at first at the beginning of the week and at the end of the week, both times all 4 times that this happened, because obviously this would be 4 times if I went twice, because beginning of the week, end of the week, okay? So, and each time the same thing. I'll be like, I'm gonna go to use the restroom now because I know how long these are, all right? I know how long these are. I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'm gonna need to use it in a bit. However, because the entirety of Boy Scouts being like, you need to drink all the water you can. You need to drink all the water you can. All that stuff. And this is why I drink a lot of water now. My dad's like, you don't need to drink all, you know, there's such thing as drinking too much water. And I'm like, so all those years of you telling me that I need to drink more water, all of a sudden I don't need to drink as much as as you've been telling me. Anyway, back to this. Because of that entire thing, every single time I'd be like, okay, I just drank a bunch of water. I went and used the restroom. I don't need to drink any more water. However, they were always like, you need to drink water because we're not coming back until we're done. And so I was like, okay, and they would make me drink more water. And then I'd be there for 3 hours. For 3 hours. Watching, first one was about like 1.5 hours because it was just the Gorham counselors just doing like a few skits and then explaining what's gonna happen, who's gonna be, which patrol is gonna be with who, which troop is gonna be with who's gonna be where, who's gonna be teaching what, all of that. That's very easy. However, at the very end, all that was replaced with all the scouts doing their what's it called? All the scouts doing their skits, no, this only happened 2 times because it was always at the end of the week. But both times I'd be like, okay, I drank water, I really went to the restroom, I'm gonna be fine. But because we were always told that we must drink all the water we can to the point where we were nearly die of water, I ended up needing to use the restroom like almost immediately the moment we sat down. And I was like, okay, I need to use the restroom now, but I guess I can hold it. And each time I would be like, my bladder is about to fucking burst like a balloon. It does not feel good. Yeet! For what? Miss me, bitch! Miss me, bitch! Miss me. Just because I leaped over the barrier? Wow, you guys are strict. But each time I was like, oh, I feel like I'm about to burst. Oh no. Each time, I am not joking when I say this. Each time I contemplated just pissing my pants right then and there. Because I was like, I cannot hold this. I cannot hold this. But then we would go and I'll be like, I need, out of my way, everybody. Out the fuck out of my way. Why is this locked? Wait, why are these locked? Why were they locked? And each time it was the same thing, and I was like, why did you make me drink a whole bunch of water? And that's my story of how I badly wanted to just like get the fuck out of there. Because, and the thing was, it was always at the end of the week because those guys, and it would range from 3 to 3.5 hours, because there was always that one, because every single time they would always take their sweet time with giving away the rewards, and it's always like, okay, I get it, it's a ceremonial thing, but why? But I swear it gets slower it got slower each time. I swear, got slower each time. Why did it get so slow? But we got through it. But another thing is that there was always that one troop that was like, okay, time for troop 911 to, and I'm not joking, that was an actual troop. They didn't do this, but I'm using them as an example. The only reason why I'm using them for an example of this is because it was first ones to pop into my head, because everyone kept on making fun of it. Hey, where's troop 911? Hey, somebody call 911. Or hey, where's troop 911? Where's troop September 11th? Seriously, the jokes were ending. I mean, the jokes kept going on and on. It was those exact jokes, but they would not stop. Anyway, the reason why that's the reason why they were the first ones to come to my head. But but there was always that one troop. Like, for example, it was like, okay, troop 911, where are you? Come on up. 5 minutes would pass. Troop 911, another 5 minutes would pass. And it was always that one, and then this would happen. Okay, I guess we're going on to the next one. And then that troop 911 that have been saying our entire time. It's like, oh, did you call us? And I'm over here like, you got like 50 guys there. You got 50 guys there, and you're telling me not one of them heard. You just appeared out of nowhere. Not one of them heard them say, hey, where's troop 911? They didn't do this. This is just an example. It's just an example. I just but it happened every single time without fail for no reason whatsoever. I had another story. Shit. Okay, so another reason why I didn't like this is because this one troop just destroyed all of this forever. Their one skit destroyed it. Destroyed my fun of like the skits forever. Right. All week, this one troop, let's call him Troop 85. Troop 85 is most likely not the culprit for this, but I'm just naming one. Troop 85. Every single day of the week, they would sing the song, Do You Know the Muffin Man? Which it took me a while to find out that the song Do You Know the Muffin Man is actually just a cautionary tale to keep kids away from from a certain serial killer who was a baker that used muffins to lure kids into their doom. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Every single day, I would hear them sing, do you know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man? Do you know the Muffin Man who lives on Drury Lane? Do you know? It was that song over and over and over again. Nah, they sang it at breakfast. They sang it at their camp. We can hear them. We were not that far, or at least we weren't like far away. But hey, you guys tried to arrest me earlier. But I did have to like cross by their camp several times. I did have to cross by their camp several times, like every single day of the week, because well, that's the route. That's the route of the class. And you may be thinking, why didn't you just go another route? If I went any other route, I would have been late to class, and I was raised to be scared of being late. So yeah, so I was afraid of being late more than I hated the fact that these guys would constantly sing, do you know the Muffin Man? And every single time it was okay, it made sense. If it wasn't for them going up, and I'm not joking, they would go up to people and be like, do you know the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man, the Muffin Man? They would do that, and then finally, on the fateful day of the last day of Saturday, of Saturday when we would all do our skits. Not joking. This is the exact move they did. They would hold their hands out like this and then do this over and over again, being like, "Do you know the Muffin Man?" I'm not joking. That was their skit. And what made it worse was the fact that they kept it going throughout other people's skits. Their skit was a skit that overlapped with other people's skits. Personally, I believe that our skit was superior just because of how stupid it was, but that's just me saying. That's just me. Yeah. Now I can actually explain our skit. Our skit was something that at one point we actually had to get rid of because we did it not because of how bad it was, but because we did it so many times. Oh wait, shit! I need to get to this. But okay, complete zeal. 2, 1. But just like our skit was our actually no, ours had to be second best because there isn't. I'll humble our troop because nothing can beat what this other troop did. Nothing can beat them. I'll explain. So ours had to be second best. Nothing can beat theirs. This was awesome. Okay, so our skit was called Self-Defense 101. It was called Self-Defense 101, and what it would be is our scoutmaster would go out, and we would all be the rest of the troop would just be actors. The parents would sit there and they would witness us be victims to his tasing. I'm not joking. That's what this was. He didn't actually have a taser. He had like a soap bar or something. I don't remember. It was something like a brick or something, and he would. Like, what was it? Okay, it started off as actual self-defense, but then it just went into petty nature. What was it? Okay, first one was, "Hello everyone, welcome to Self-Defense 101. Today I'm gonna be showing you guys how to defend yourself against something that against encounters that you're not gonna want to be against." Now let's say that, oh shit. Now let's say that somebody comes and that you're just on your way back to your car, and somebody just comes and and tries to rob you. And so a guy with one of our scarves on, I don't have it in my room, but with one of the scarves on like their mouth to make them look like that they're like a bandit or something, and they come up and they'd be like, "Hey, give me your money." And so they would be like, "Hey, give me your money." So this seems reasonable. Oh yeah, you want self-defense. No, first it's like, hey, imagine somebody. Okay, no, the robber one was okay. Hold on. Okay, so the first one was like, someone wants to fight you. We can't have that. So you grab hold of their. So what you do is you grab hold of their forearm. He's like, what are you doing? And see, I can do whatever I want with him, considering the fact that I got his forearm. He is completely powerless. And the guy would be like, "What's going on?" And then he would be like, "Wait, I gotta have something around here." Okay. Let's pretend that this deck of cards is the taser. And he's like, so what you do is you take your taser. Wait, no, don't do it. And tase. And this was the same thing throughout the entire thing. The next one would be, now let's just imagine that you're walking to your car. And you just suddenly get jumped by a robber. Okay, give me your money right now. We can't have that. And it came to the point where everybody knew because this was so repetitive, everyone knew what was going on, but they were all having so much fun. And it's like, so you take their forearm. Wait, what are you doing? And tase. And it goes from this to immediately just, this guy's just a psychopath. So let's say, and this is the third one. So let's say you are in your house. You're minding your own business, and you look over and you see in your neighbor's window, and you notice something. He's watching your favorite show. We can't have that. So what you do is you crawl through your window. You open theirs. You crawl through theirs. Close it. And you go up to them. What are you doing in my house? You take their arm. and this was it. And it just kept on going. Now it's now let's say you're back at your house and you're in your room. You're just doing what you want, what you want to do. And your mom comes in. Honey, it's time for dinner. What is all of this? And she tells you, you need to clean your room right now. We can't have that. And every single time he would look at the crowd, everyone knew that he was gonna say that, and so they all chanted along, we can't have that. Or at least maybe not. Maybe some people did. My brain is skewing this a bit, but but everything I'm telling you, like what he was doing was true. And so like, so you grab her arm, honey, what are you doing? And tase. Now, let's say that you're out and you're camping, or you're out in your weekly scout meeting. And your scoutmaster comes to you and asks, "Hey, can you go get me some coffee?" We can't have that. So you take his forearm, and as you can see, I can do whatever I want considering I have his forearm. And you take the taser and tase. And every single time it would be like somebody would be like, and then they just fall into the ground. Finally, it went from this guy is actually defending himself to this guy's a psychopath too. This guy's a murderer, and this is what it went. Now let's say that you're out at the pool, and let's say that you're out you're at your summer camp, and you decide to go to the pool, or lake, or the ocean, whichever one, because sometimes we took it at the lake, sometimes we took it at the ocean. It's like, let's say it's at the pool, and you notice other people in the pool. We can't have that. So what do? You get your taser, you go up to the pool's edge, you lean down, and you go to the water and tase. And it just electric. And so while we're doing this, I was one of the pool guys that was just in there. We're all just like flopping around, just like that in the pool, just pretending that we're in a pool. And when he tases, we're like. So that was our skit. It's called Self-Defense 101. I gotta make that into a into a video one day where we're doing Self-Defense 101. You cannot steal this, considering the fact that this was actually I don't even own it. It's actually Scout stuff, but it's nothing in comparison to what another troop did. Another troop, they have got to be the best in coming up with this shit, because what's it called? But I'm gonna get some acid tonight. I'm gonna get some acid. Don't worry. I'm gonna get some acid. I'm gonna get some phosphorus as well. But I'm gonna go check. But it can't be better. There's no way it can be better than this other one. It is, and I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. You guys are gonna be like, no, there's gotta be better ones. Come on. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So 20. So is it 10 or 20? I'm gonna experiment with one of them first. Wait. Oh no, it's 10 each. So I gotta do 20 of each. Okay. So this actually preyed on the fact that this was a stereotype for the troop masters, for troop leaders. That they always wanted coffee. And so it was a scout, and he would be like, as a troop leader, as a scoutmaster, you gotta be prepared for anything. Like my trusty bag over here. I have everything in here that I need. Oh. Oh, no, no, wait, never mind. That's fine. That's fine. Nah. Everything in here that I need. If a scout is in danger, I have what I need to help. And a scout comes up. Scoutmaster! Timmy, he's broken his leg. No, wait, Timmy has fallen into the well. Oh, that Timmy. Yeah, that Timothy. Here, take this rope. It's fine. Just he can take it out. See, as a scoutmaster, you need to learn to have everything under control. Scoutmaster! Oh, Billy, he broke his leg. Oh, Billy. That's rascal. Take this tourniquet and take this duct tape and sticks and you can make a splint out of it. Okay, thank you. As Scoutmaster, you need to be prepared for everything. And it's not just that, you need to keep your mind sharp. You need to keep your mind sharp. And Scoutmaster! Timmy, he's out of the well, but he's bleeding really bad. He's bleeding. Oh, that Timmy. Well, here, take these rags and you can use them as bandages. Okay. Yeah. As I was saying, as Scoutmaster, you need to keep your mind sharp. You need to make sure that you're awake. Scout. Yes. Can you go and get me some coffee? Yes, sir. Right away. Yes, sir. Right away. Yeah. Now, Scoutmaster. Yes, what is it? It's Billy. He's lost. I'm sure we can find him. Does he have his compass on him? Last I saw, yes. Was he following buddy system? Yes, him and his buddy are both lost. Do they have the whistle that can help? That they can help get back? Yes, they do. Then I'm sure that they'll be brought back. As I was saying, Scoutmaster's gotta be calm, collected, and Scoutmaster. What is it? They're out of coffee. What? They're out of coffee. And the Scoutmaster looks at the crowd. Call an ambulance! Call the National Guard! Call the FBI! This is a national emergency! Here's the thing. You guys are probably going to be hearing that and thinking, oh, there's no way that's that good. I just need you to know that you have to be in Scout. You would have had to be in Scouts and have been there. This is one of those things where it's like, you would have had to been there. You would have to been there for that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Share this with other people, recommend this to other people, join Discord, link is in the description, join Twitch, link is also in the description. If you guys want more stories about this, then go over and join my live streams. We have fun over there. Twitch and Kick, Twitch is most likely the only one that has not failed me so far. So if you really want a good chance of catching my streams almost every single day, head over to Twitch. The link is in the description right now. Or if it doesn't work, just search up Pandas TW. It is the same exact emblem except it's red. And it looks like it's a ruby for some reason. Made out of ruby. I don't know. But thank you guys for watching. That's gonna be it, and goodbye. So okay, I'm gonna continue here. But yeah, that was just how it went. It was glorious. I'm gonna continue going for like about one more day, and then I'll get off. Because I got tomorrow morning off, but I don't have the tomorrow night off. Okay, let's go and make sure that we got. Okay, just making sure. Okay. But yeah, that has gotta have been the best skit I've ever seen, because that's one, as I was saying, that has gotta be of one of the things where you've had to been there. You've had to be there for that. Because the stereotype is that Scoutmasters just really love. Okay, so 20, 40, 60, 60, 260. Let's get 260. I would like 260, so 260. There we go. That's one of those things where it's like you would have had to be there for that. That's one of those. Not only that, but you gotta understand the stereotype of the Scoutmaster wanting like their addiction to coffee. It's one of those where it's like it's to the point where sometimes it's not even funny. I remember like one of Scoutmasters, like on our 50-mile hike. We went on a 50-mile hike in Philmont. I'd reckon if you want a good experience of a hike that takes a while, well, go to Philmont. Look up Philmont. It's a scout camp, but I'm pretty sure they may or may not make an exception. If you go there, do not say, but the guy on the internet said you make an exception. I'm not saying that they will. I'm saying that there may be a chance that they might. If they don't, then don't come over and say that I lied. Do not come over and say that I lied, because we got video footage on a live stream stating that I am not guaranteeing anything. But I would still recommend it, because I think that there are some people that and here's the thing, don't just go by yourself. I recommend going in a group. Okay? I recommend going in a group. Because if you're just by yourself, there's a good chance that you can get lost. Good chance that you can get lost. And even if you're in a group, and it doesn't matter, and here's my advice. If you do it, and you're in a group, does not matter how much you think you know where you are. I do not care. Does not matter. Do not ever trust that instinct. If you see, okay, trust that instinct, but don't trust it to the point where you are willing to risk your life because you think that you're correct. All right? If you see somebody going back the way that you are going, that's coming your direction, and they're going the exact opposite direction as you were going, ask them, hey, did you by any chance go by this checkpoint? They're like, and if they say yes, ask them first ask them if you're going the right direction, and second ask them how much further. You're not going to get an exact number. You're not going to be like, oh, it's just this many feet that way. It's just this many feet more, this many miles, this many meters, this many centimeters. That doesn't matter. This much metric, this much imperial. And they're not going to always say that, or they might not ever say that at all. Usually they're going to say it's not that far. Just so you know, not that far is always further than you think. It's never as far as you think. It's always either further than you think or a lot less further than you think. It's never in between. It's never exactly where you thought. It's always one of the two. I just want to state that. I feel like that they're going to expand the game over to that. But that I recommend doing that. It's really good. What I don't recommend is deciding to do... Actually, I have another story, actually. I wasn't there for this one. I decided I didn't want to go on this one. But my dad had... But this is my dad's story. There was this one kid who thought it would be a good idea to carry weights with him. You think that's a good idea? No, it is absolutely fucking not. Because this kid was so exhausted 4 miles in on the first day. 4 miles in on the first day. So exhausted that he had to go back with he had to go back to Philmont, to the Philmont base camp, and rest there for the next 6 days. For the next 6 days, he had to sit back at base camp with, I think it was his dad, the entire time. Because he couldn't go. So, my advice, if you're going on a trip in your favorite rocket ship, do not bring weights. Only bring essentials. Bring the essentials. Bring water, bring clothes, bring food, because they're gonna have you use that. They will provide the food. You may bring your own food, but they will provide your own food. And, bring like rain gear, because it rains there. Trust me, there was several times where it just rained off and on. I remember there was this one point where the guy was like, where the guy who was like leading us for like the our guide for like the first 3 days was like, it's gonna rain. And they're like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's about to rain very soon. And right on cue, as if he was able to predict the weather. If he was God, predicting, telling you, hey, it's the rain is gonna come. Right on cue, rain came, and it's not because he's able to predict the future, but it's because he's been out here so many times to the point where he's able to figure out the weather what's it called patterns, pattern and the signs of, yeah, it's gonna rain soon. Nah. But that's my advice. Do not decide, hey, I'm gonna best viewers on streambrew.com. Great. Don't bring weights, don't bring like unessential stuff, bring the essentials, okay? Bring the essentials. All right, don't be like, yeah, no, I'm going to don't be like, yeah, no. You know what? Actually, let me go to real estate. Let me go to fake estate right now and let me check on some stuff. But yeah. Dude, I should also mention that this was like the first time I ever got sick. Hey, no, I would like to purchase a business. Sir, good sir. Yes. Yes, good sir. I'd very much like to purchase that business. But I got really sick when I went that way, and the reason why is because I got very dehydrated. My you know, a camel bag, and for those of you that don't know what a camel bag is, it's a it's a backpack of which you will have something called a bladder in it, of which you fill up with water, and it has a straw of which you can drink from. You can drink from that bladder with the water that is inside of it. And this actually helps because while you don't have to constantly reach over for your what's it called? For your water bottle. Couple deal. And so you can just be like, oh, I just need a drink. Okay, done. And that's really it. But however, apparently there was a kink in mine, and I didn't know it because it was like because it's inside the back. The bladder's inside the backpack, and the straw that's attached to it needs to come out somehow. And it came out through like the strap, like the shoulder, like the back, the strap that I used on my shoulder so I can hold the backpack. You know, the backpack strap, and it comes out through that, and I would drink from that. Now, for some reason, I don't know how, but it got a kink in it. Mean it was pinched. Mean I could not. Mean no water can come out from it. And so, so I wasn't able to drink. However, on the way there was this checkpoint that we came across. That they there were checkpoints all across where you can go in and get like snacks, and by get snacks I mean not pay for them. There was like a box called the trade box where you would put some snacks in that you didn't want, and you would be able to take some snacks out. My diet the entire time consisted of either whatever the fuck we were eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day, and for snacking my diet consisted of honey roasted peanuts and dried apple oatmeal. Anyway, back to this checkpoint. They had They, hold on. I'm gonna do an epic jump. Yeet! Shit. Made a mistake. Made a mistake, 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 made a mistake. You can't hit me! You fools! You absolute idiots! Morons! Morons, idiots. But, I was talking about something I completely forgot. Shit. They can't get in here. Okay, yeah, okay. I got, so at the checkpoints, they were, in each checkpoint, they would, like, give, like, a, they would give, like, a, like, history of the place. And, but in like, a small house on, like, off the actual house, like, near the actual house, they had this little root beer keg that they would have for, and they would sell root beer. They would sell it for like $1. And I was like, I got money. I'll buy some. I decided to buy root beer. Root beer is the only form of like any form of liquid that I got that entire time, because I couldn't get water. I was like, why can't I get the water? And so I got really sick. I mean, it felt so bad that I was even crying for my mom. But I went through it all. I went through the entire thing. We figured out what the problem was. Figured out that the reason why I was so sick was because, well, I didn't drink a lot of water. Found a kink in it, in my bag. And, hello, friend. $10, $20, $30, $40, $50. I'm gonna give this to Brad. You might be thinking, why am I giving more to Brad than I am to Benji? Benji gets the good version of this stuff. What the fuck? That's an hour and 26 minutes. Okay, hour and 26 minutes, and then the last one was 19. Okay. But I figured out what the problem was. What's it called? We got everything got better. Oh, your logbook, never mind. But I ended up getting better. I felt better the rest of the time there. That's really all I got for stories. That's really all I got for stories, actually. If I'm being honest. yeah. I might come up with more stories that I've had. Who knows? I know for a full fact that after I'm done with this, I'm gonna edit some videos, because why not? Okay, that's gonna be all for today. Okay, Brad. Also, I've realized that Brad's making a lot of money off of this. What would Brad be? What would Brad be? He would usually be coming around this. Okay, we need to get back to the house. We need to get back to the house. Okay, yeah, I don't really have any more stuff to be talking about here. Okay. Well, that's gonna be it. Tomorrow, we're gonna just spend the day just, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 80. Okay. Well, we'll do everything tomorrow, okay? So I'm gonna thank everyone for watching. Share this with other people, recommend it to other people. Join Discord, link is in the description. Join Twitch, link is also in the description. Join my join Kick, link is also in the description. And also, we've gotten some things on here, and I'm planning on getting more getting some emotes on here on Twitch as well. So you want to go over there, use emotes, gifted subs, do bits, come on over. Do channel points, come on over. I'll I'm over here. I'm still working on channel points, but still. Thank you guys for watching. That's gonna be it, and goodbye.